Hey everybody, it's Carrie Roldan and welcome to today's class, which is a free class on how to do intuitive art. I'm super excited to have you guys here, especially to see, I see like some friendly, familiar faces, and I also see some people I've never met before. So I'm excited to have everybody here and to teach you guys this method that has been really helpful and powerful for me. So before I go any further, I just want to ask you all to mute yourselves so we don't have a ton of background noise, so you don't actually like make a noise that you didn't know was recorded. If you, on the bottom left hand of your screen, there's a microphone button. So I'm just going to see if everybody sees it. Looks like you guys do. Judy, I don't see that you are muted, but you're not making a lot of noise. But bottom left hand side of your screen, if you just click the little microphone button, there you go. Okay, hi everybody. I'm so excited that you are here. And I'm super stoked to be talking to you guys about this. So first, I just want to introduce myself to those of you who don't know me, or some of you know me from a different context than maybe like we've met in different areas. So my name is Carrie Roldan. I usually introduce myself as a wife, a mother, a runner, a best-selling author, a personal growth junkie, and your total business BFF, which stands for best friend forever. It really is my goal, like my mission in life, just to encourage, inspire, and uplift women entrepreneurs, to help y'all in whatever way that I can, however I feel I can be most useful in your life. Professionally, I wind up offering intuitive wisdom and guidance and perspective to fellow women entrepreneurs on the journey. But why I am so excited about teaching this class is because I'm highly intuitive on my own. Like I'm highly intuitive without intuitive art. I actually, that's how I wind up helping my clients, right? Is I will be present with a client and I will have intuition through me and I will share what I'm about and it is helpful to the person on the other end. But, oh, I'm still hearing background noise. So if you haven't muted, oh, I think it might be you, Judy. Go ahead and mute yourself. Why intuitive art I love so much is because it's easy for me and probably you guys, right, to be super intuitive, or maybe not. Maybe you're not in touch with your intuition at all. But it's easy to be intuitive or to follow a nudge when it doesn't have really consequences, or when we don't think that whatever the intuitive nudge is about, like it's easy for me to say to a client, you know what, I'm getting the feeling that, you know, maybe you ought to go in this direction. It's a whole nother thing to be able to trust our own intuition, right? And the more we do it, the more practice we become at following in our intuition and having great results, the better it worked out for us. But this method that I want to teach you guys today is a way to separate your brain, your logical mind, from your intuition. So one of the things that I hear over and over again, whether we're talking, you know, psychic abilities or hearing God's voice or how, whatever terminology that you give to it, one of the things that I hear over and over again from people is, how do I know it's not me? Like how do I know it's not my personality? Or how do I know it's not my brain? And what this method I'm going to teach you, this intuitive art method, what it does is it removes your brain from the equation. So you're able to bypass your brain and go directly to paper. And then you can maybe then use your brain to interpret what's on the paper, but it removes the middleman. So before I even go on, is that making sense to everybody? Do you guys have questions, comments, concerns about that? Okay, good. Okay, so here's how it works. It's actually a pretty simple method. There are 3 steps, and the 3 steps are, we're going to connect. Now we're going to connect to whatever feels right to you. So that connection, you can connect to God, you can connect to source energy, you can connect to your higher self, you can connect to your soul, you can connect to excuse me, it doesn't matter what you call it. You're going to connect to that intuition part of you, right? That bigger part of you, that all-knowing part of you. So I like to call it my higher self, because I like to think of it as the version of me that is it's maybe a little bit further along the path, but it has a vantage point that I don't have. It's like up on a mountaintop and can see the road ahead of me and the curves in the road and the things that I can't see from my vantage point. So I like to call it my higher self, because it's like what I would tell me if I knew better, if I knew what was coming next. It doesn't matter what you call it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to connect to that. Then the second part of this intuitive art method is super simple. We're just going to draw. And that's the main focus that I'm going to teach you today, is how to do that, how to bypass your brain and get all the answers from your hand. And then the third thing we're going to learn to do is decode, right? We're going to decode the messages that come to us. We're going to decode what it is we draw so that we can get we can make some sort of sense out of it. And before I hop right in, I just want to tell you guys how I've used this method in my life and business. So I told you guys that I'm fairly intuitive. In general, I think I do a pretty good job of following my intuition. And actually, if you can just show me by nodding, how many of you feel like you already do a pretty good job of following your intuition? Okay, good. I got one that's like, I don't know. Good. Okay. So then tell me this, because this is how it works for me. Why I find this method so powerful is because there are times when I feel like it's so important to my personality that I can't hear my intuition, or I can't decipher what is intuition and what is just my brain trying to make sense of it. Have you guys been there? Okay, so I want to tell you two things that have happened recently with things that my personality, my brain has decided that these things are really important. They felt like big decisions. And for me, a lot of the times when I turn to intuition is when there's money involved. For whatever reason, I'm not so great at trusting myself when it comes to decisions around money, whether it's spending a lot of money, or whether it's asking for money, whether it's deciding what to charge someone, etc. And I've had a couple. I'm actually going to use Carla as an example because she's here and she's great and she probably remembers this. But there was, I don't know how many months ago, when I was early on talking to Carla Silver about working with her in her company. And I felt good about it, and I think she felt good about it, but I was like, we were having that difficult conversation, that awkward conversation around, okay, well, what does this look like, and what's the money conversation going to be, and how is it going to all work? And I felt nervous. I felt nervous about speaking professionally to Carla about this. And so I got quiet, and I went to intuitive art, and I don't remember exactly the question I asked, but it was something around, okay, what does this relationship look like? Or I think it was, what does this relationship look like? How is this going to serve both of us? Something along those lines. And I went through the process I'm about to teach you and got such clear answers. Now, that doesn't mean that it was super comfortable to be able to talk to Carla, who at the time I didn't know very well, and say, listen, I do this thing called intuitive art, and here's the answers that I got. But because it was out of my head and on paper, I felt confident enough to speak the words that came to me, right? To take the wisdom from that paper and speak it out loud to Carla. And lo and behold, she was like, my sentiments exactly, this is going to be perfect. You said exactly the right words. This is great. And it's happened numerous times like that in my life and business, where when I tend to put a little bit too much on something, or, uh-oh, can you guys still hear me? Can you nod? Can you hear me? Dang it. It says my internet connection is unstable. So I'm going to stop video for just a sec. Is that better? Okay. So sorry about this, you guys. Of course, on the day I do a live class, this happened in my last one too, internet is a little wonky. So I'm going to keep it like this until, at least for a little while. And sometimes it just gets better. So anyways, I guess the whole point of me telling you that story is just to help you understand ways that you can use intuitive art in your life and business. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. And I need to ask you, has everybody had a chance, and by the way, it's okay if you haven't, but has everybody had a chance to download the color sheet? Just let me know in the comments. I got thumbs up, I got yes, I got nodding. Okay, great. If you didn't, no big deal, don't stress out. If you don't have the color sheet, you can just put the colors on a piece of paper just like I did, and this can be your color sheet. So is my audio okay now? All right, I'm gonna stop video. Okay, so the colors that we need to have are red, pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, black, white, gray, and brown. So hopefully you all have markers or crayons or something nearby, but I see several of you rummaging around. Cool. It doesn't really matter what you use. I use crayons in a bag like this. But you don't need your colors right this instant. You just want to have them nearby, because we are going to, the first thing that we're going to do is a meditation, because we're going to find out what each of those colors represents to you. And then once we know what the colors represent, we'll be able to use them to decode the drawing that comes later. So I love watching your faces pop on and off the screen. But I see everybody's gathering what they need. Hi, Janie. All right. So I'm just going to give it that because I see people rummaging around. All right. So what we're going to do first is create our color sheet. So remember, I talked about there's 3 steps. There's connect, there's draw, and decode. So this is really the preliminary step to, or it's part of the connect step. So the cool thing about intuitive art is that your colors don't change. So you don't have to do this every time you do intuitive art. We only have to do this color meditation the very first time. So once you've got your colors down once, they don't change very much. I mean, maybe every year or so you might want to do the color meditation again and see if your colors still feel about the same way. But the truth is, the more you do this, the more your intuition will guide you to let you know if the meaning behind a color has shifted slightly. All right, so let's everybody take a deep breath. You're going to want your color sheet and your pen nearby, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a meditation, and we're going to meditate on each of the colors. And there's going to be words that come up for you for each of the colors. So as we're meditating with our eyes closed and breathing into each color, you'll get some words, and you're going to want to write those down on your color sheet. All right, so take out your color sheet and have it in front of you. And you've got a marker or a pen so that you can write down what the colors mean as we go along. And what we're going to do is you're just going to follow me in this meditation, and you're actually going to become each color. And as words or emotions come into your body, you're going to write them down next to the appropriate color on your color sheet. So all you have to do is just follow along and really let your body guide you. Ooh, I see yawning. That's a good sign, Tanya. All right. So let's breathe deeply into our belly. And allow your belly to take in this extra oxygen and begin to relax. So breathe deeply into your belly, and as you exhale, let out an audible sigh. So let's do it together. You guys are all muted, so don't be afraid. Breathe in. Feel your shoulders relax and come down. Feel your forehead relax. Feel your brain relax. Let the corners of your eyes widen and allow your jaw to loosen. Keep breathing deeply into your belly and notice if there are any parts of you that are still holding tension. If there are, just send them love and gratitude. They're just trying to protect you. So if it feels right, you can go ahead and wiggle your toes, move your fingers, let out a big yawn. Just allow your body to release anything in the way of relaxation. So continue breathing deeply into your belly, but on your next inhale, inhale the color red. Your room is completely red. The air is red. And each cell of your body is turning red. You are now a red person. How does it feel to be red? What kind of emotions does a red person feel? What activities does a red person like to do? So as things come into your mind for the color red, just write them down on your sheet. Don't worry if they seem to contradict each other. Just trust that what comes up is red. Okay, and we really just need a few words for each. So pick what stands out and trust it. So now as we finish up with red, the last swirls going around inside your body. On the next exhale, release all of the color red. So breathe out all of the red inside of you. And on your inhale, inhale the color pink. Pink is now swirling around in your belly. It's in the air that you breathe, and it's making its way through your entire body. Pink is now going down to your toes and changing you. You are now a pink person. What does that feel like? What kinds of emotions does a pink person feel? What words would you use to characterize a pink person? And as you start to release the pink, just exhale all that remains. So clear yourself out of pink and make way for orange, because orange is now being sucked into your lungs and sent down to your abdomen. And orange is changing every cell of your body. You're now an orange person. Every cell of your body is now vibrating to the color orange. How does that feel? Who are you as an orange person? What does an orange person do? And how would you describe being orange? Now you can exhale the color orange. Just clear it out of your body. Release it through your hands and feet. And inhale the color yellow. Notice the difference in your body. How does yellow feel? What emotions are tied to the color yellow? And what characterizes a yellow person? So as you are living and breathing in yellow, record the words that come up for you. And now you can exhale the color yellow and make way for green. Oh, that's my dog barking. Sorry about that. The color green has filled up your space. I'm going to put my dogs outside. I want you guys to breathe into green. Write down the words that feel green. Now go ahead and start to release the color green. If you came out of your meditative state as I was letting my dogs out, just take another great big breath. Release any green that might still be in your body. And on your next inhale, inhale the color blue. So blue is now entering your body and changing you once again. You're now vibrating to the color blue and what makes you feel. And blue makes you feel a very certain way. So what does blue feel like? What is it like to be blue? What emotions do you feel as a blue person? What words would you use to describe being blue? On your next exhale, let blue go back into your space and clear out. Then on your next inhale, inhale the color purple. Purple is now filling you up from your toes to the top of your head. You have become a purple person. How does it feel to be purple? What words come to mind when you think about being a purple person? How does it feel in your body to be purple? Okay, the purple is leaving you now and your body is making space. And your next inhale invites the color black. So black is now filling you up and you have now become a black person. How does that feel? What emotions do you feel as a black person? What words would you use to describe yourself as a Black person? And how does your body feel inhabiting the color Black? And now the Black is starting to dissipate and clear out from your body, and the next color to enter is white. So white is filling you up all over. Every cell in your body is white. What does that feel like? How does it feel to be a completely white person? What words would you use to describe someone who is white? Now, as white is going away, leaving your body with an exhale, on an inhale, gray enters. Gray is now filling up your body, filling up your space. And you have become a gray person. What emotions are you feeling as a gray person? What words would you use to describe someone who is gray? And who are you as a gray person? And as gray starts to leave you, exhale all of it from your body and make some room for brown. Brown is now filling you up. Every cell has changed to brown. How does that feel? What emotions does a brown person feel? What words would be used to characterize a brown person? And when you're ready, exhale the color brown. I love that I'm seeing so much yawning. And now with the last couple of breaths in our meditation, just be still, notice, and write down any remaining thoughts about the colors you just became. And then pat yourself on the back because congratulations, you filled out your color sheet. I'm going to attempt to show my video again, see if the internet's better. So let me know if you hear me well. Thumbs up from, okay, couple thumbs up. If it gets bad, just do something or write something in the comments so that I know, and I'll go back to not being on video. I feel like it's weird when I can see you and you can't see me. Okay, you guys, so how are we feeling about your colors? Are there any questions or is there any confusion about the colors so far? Just go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, it's Carla.
Go ahead and unmute.
I found myself going down conventional lines, like, and I didn't want to do it. I was fighting it, like black, darkness, or white, nothing, gray, foggy, and I was trying not to, or there was one, green, go, right? And so am I supposed to fight that or just go with the conventions?
So that's the cool thing, and I probably should have explained. This is my first time teaching this method, so thank you, because I probably should have explained that before we just hopped into it. Go with whatever comes up, because colors are going to be different for everybody. But if green means go to you, it means go to you, right? That's what it means. So when it comes up in your drawing, it's going to have the energy of go, like it's go time. Let's get to it and go. But sometimes green, like you may get several things for green, right? Maybe if you get conventional stuff, you might get, I'm using green as an example, you might get the go energy, and you may also get money. It's okay. It's okay to get things that are sort of conflicting. It's okay to get stuff that doesn't make sense to your rational brain. That's going to come out in the decoding. It'll make a little bit more sense. But mostly it's just feeling into what do these colors represent to you. I mean, I like to think of it much more in the spiritual realm. Oh, sorry, my internet's unstable again. How can you hear me? Okay. I like to think of it much more in a spiritual realm, but you can think about it purely as a subconscious as well, right? This is what these colors subconsciously mean to you. That's fine. Anybody else have questions about your colors, about what they mean? Okay. Oh, what about?
Yeah. This is Tiana. For black and white, so for black, I immediately felt this quiet, calm, kind of resting place. But then I also noticed what felt very conflicting, like it was hard to breathe. There's a sense of hard to breathe. And then for white, there was this chalky, pasty feeling, and contrasting that with like a dove, the effortless flying of a dove. So both strong contrast.
I'm nodding my head as if you can see me. Yeah, so part of it is part of what will come up as you get better at this and do this more is that your colors will start to make more sense to you, and especially in talking about what you draw. So right now, the best thing that we can do for ourselves is not judge it, but to write both things down, right? That I forgot the first thing you said black meant, but the second thing was it felt like you couldn't breathe. That, to me, the word that is coming up is like oppressiveness. I don't know if that's quite the right word for you, right? But that feeling of not being able to breathe, you might be able to put a label on that feeling.
Uh-huh. And then simultaneously, though, there's that quiet, calm, resting space. So it was like, how could it be both?
So what's that? It can be both. And
okay.
You'll see that. It can be both. And it's okay.
Okay, good. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else have questions? Okay, I want to hop to it because I see we've got like 25 minutes left. So I really wish I could turn on my camera, but since it doesn't seem to be working, I will try and walk us through this verbally, because the next thing that we get to do is draw. So remember, there's 3 phases to this. Well, first I have to come up with a question, but then we're going to draw the answer to the question. So here's how it works. We're going to connect to that higher part of ourselves, to that God space, to that source energy, whatever we want to call that. And we're going to tell that space, I am now drawing the answer to my question. Now, the question that you guys come up with can be anything that you want. The more specific, the better. But I know in the beginning, it's nice to just have like a simple question. So a good one is, how can I be happier during the day? I wrote a few down that might appeal to some of you. I wrote, what is the best business model for me? That sounds like a crazy thing to be able to get from a drawing, but it's actually pretty cool. I could ask the question, I've done this before and gotten amazing results actually. It helped me feel so free when I said, what do I need to know for my upcoming webinar, right? Like that was one that was, once I got the answers, I felt really free and comfortable going into the webinar. Maybe it is, I love this question just to ask ourselves all the time, but just with everything going on in the world right now, who do I want to be in the face of this? Or who do I need to be in the face of this? Truth is, it doesn't matter what your question is, your higher guidance has an answer for you. So does everybody have a question in mind? I'm seeing nodding. Okay, good. So hopefully you guys have a piece of paper nearby and your colors. So you're gonna need a crayon or a marker or a colored pencil or a chalk or a mixture of all of those, it doesn't matter, but of each of those 11 colors: red, pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, black, white, gray, brown. So I see people searching for their colors. So if you could just give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat box once we have them. Okay, yay. All right, I'm gonna grab a drink. Okay, so we have our question, we have our colors, we have our paper. We now have just about everything we need to get the answers. So let's just take a second to check in, get calm and quiet and still. And we're going to connect. There's somebody's jumbling around. So if you're not muted, go ahead and mute yourself. We're going to connect with that higher self, that God space. One of the ways I like to do it is to imagine that whatever that is, that energy lives 3 feet above my head. And I'm going to open a hole in the top of my head. And a hole in the universe is opening up just 3 feet above my head. And that higher self energy, that God energy, that all that is pouring down from that hole in the universe 3 feet above my head, down into me. And when you feel calm and centered and connected, go ahead and write that question on your piece of paper. So whatever your question is, write it out. Okay, so I see most of you have it written out. You can be listening as you finish writing. This process of intuitive art, intuitive drawing, it goes really quickly. So what you want to do is you want to have your crayons or pens or pencils, whatever you've got, in front of you near your dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, next to right hand. If you're left-handed, next to your left hand. A few times there have been exceptions where people were born left-handed and taught to be right-handed. In that case, you probably want it next to your left hand. And what we are going to do is we are going to completely trust our hand. So the drawing process is us staying connected to the all that is, having our colors right there in front of us near our dominant hand, and our eyes closed. So we're going to do these drawings with our eyes closed. We're going to have the question in our hearts and minds, and we're going to say out loud or to ourselves, I'm going to use the word higher self. Higher self, I'm drawing the answer to the question, whatever it is, your question. And then you're going to trust your hand. And your hand is going to know when to pick up a color, when it's going to scribble it on the page or make it doesn't really matter. You're just going to trust your hand to know when to pick up. All you have to listen for inside your body is pick up a color, start drawing, stop drawing, change color, right? And you'll also know, you'll get a sense when your drawing is done. So I see some of you have started already, but if you haven't, take a breath, connect to the all that is. Tell your higher self that you are drawing the answer to the question on your page, and then trust your hand. And so I can tell when you guys are done. Just go ahead and open your eyes. And I see, looks like there maybe you guys are just finishing up and someone just rebelled because that's how these things work. So I'm going to mute, answer my door, and I'll be back in a sec and we'll decode. Okay, I keep trying to come back on video. Can you hear me? I get some yes, like so far so good. So if I start to break up again, just let me know. Okay, so now you have a drawing in front of you. Do you mind holding it up so we can see what everybody's scribbles look like? Oh my goodness, so fun. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, I turned my camera off because you guys were all breaking up. So this is why this is so fun, is because it's seemingly meaningless scribbles. Maybe like I saw Teresa got a heart, which is kind of cool. But generally our drawings look like nothing, right? Like nothing that you'd be proud to put on your refrigerator, or they look like a scribbled mess. So now we're going to go through decoding it. So the first step in decoding is super simple. You just get out your pen and you write next to each color the words that it means. So if you have yellow on your page, you just write the words next to it. And that's going to help you decode the message. But while you guys are doing this, I saw Tayana like looking at her drawing and like feeling satisfied. Has anybody already gotten clarity just from looking at their drawing? Just unmute yourself. Teresa says maybe.
Are we supposed to write all the words?
Okay, good question. Initially, yes, but also trust your gut, because this is where you may look at the drawing and instinctively know this black means oppression or this white means freedom. You may have a sense for it just looking at it. But if you don't, write all the words.
I lost you.
Who lost me? Can you hear me now?
Jen, somehow I lost the, there it is. There. Never mind.
Okay. Something else was popping up on your screen.
Yes. So I didn't quite hear what you said.
Okay, so where we are right now is we are putting the words to the colors. So you're actually writing on your drawing the words that each color means.
All of the words? That was my question.
Oh, yes. Sometimes you'll have a knowing, like without having to write them all, you'll understand already what that particular color means in that instance. But if not, go ahead and write all the words. I'm just sort of watching you all to see when the majority of you are done writing words on your page. You guys, this is so funny. Since we've been on this call, there have been like, I don't know if someone's checking the gas meter or what, but there's like people outside my house, my doorbell's ringing, my dogs are going crazy, and we're trying to be all calm and centered and meditative. So it's just how it's going to be today. Okay. How are you all feeling so far? Are we enlightened or confused? I got some thumbs up. Okay, so I got some confusion as well. So here is where your learning style is going to come into play, or your interpretation style is going to come into play. So I often, there's nothing wrong with not understanding your drawing right away. I often understand bits and pieces of my drawing, but I know that there's truth in there. And so I will let it sink in. I will come back to it over the next couple of days, and more will reveal itself to me. However, one of the best ways for me to read my drawings is to explain them to somebody else, because I happen to be a verbal processor, and in the explaining of it is where some of the clarity comes. But this is a beginner's class, so I'm going to tell you, I'm going to teach you I want to say like a fail-safe, but one of the easiest ways to interpret your drawing is to look at what's on the page and go through it color by color to the best of your memory, what you wrote first, what you colored first. So for instance, let's see if I can show my video. I keep trying. I may have one of you guys if the audio is bad, but this is a drawing that I did. The question was actually about advertising this class. So I said, what is the best way to announce my intuitive art class to my Facebook groups and friends, etc.? And I drew this. So you don't have to be able to see the whole thing. So then I go through it and go, what did I draw first? What shape do I remember drawing first? And how do you do this curly? It's like a very light blue. And that's contribution. So I thought, okay, lead with that, right? How can I contribute? And then the next thing I remember drawing was there's like a big circle around it. It looks gray, but that's because my white has glitter in it. Because who doesn't want a little glitter in their crayons? And that one to me was intuition. So then I realized, okay, I'm going to lead with contribution, but I'm also going to give myself the space in the announcing it to let my intuition guide. Like I'm pretty much the intuition encapsulates this contribution squiggle. So I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to do then. I'm going to go live. And I'm going to let my intuition lead. I'm going to start with the intention of contribution. How can I help these people? I'm going to let my intuition lead. And then the next thing I remember drawing was this pink, it's like a pink looking boat. And pink to me is softness, love, grace, sweetness. It's sort of all things like sweet little cuddly baby girl. And so I just allowed myself to rest in that kind of energy, to give myself grace, to realize it's not the end all be all, it's just an intuitive art class. And remember, I just want to be of contribution to people. And then the last thing that I drew for this particular drawing was yellow, which yellow is fun, it's happy, it's joyful, it's smiles. That's what yellow is to me. And so that was my basically blanketed all in joy, right? Remember, like, just be fun. So that was the guidance that came to me through that drawing. Now what it did was free me up to do that. Oh, this little green thing down here. So green has a couple meanings for me, but I knew right away this was money. And it was basically, this green dot is separate from everything else in the drawing. It's separate. It's sort of like its own little island, which to me said, don't make it about money. Don't even worry about the money. The money's out there, but don't even think about the money when you are advertising this class. So that's how it was. If I just looked at the drawing, it might not make sense. But if I speak it out loud, it all makes sense to me. So I'm wondering if anybody here has a drawing they're willing to share and talk us through. You can just raise your hand. I can see most of you. I have screens to see all of you. If you're confused or if you're excited, if you just want to talk us through your drawing, I think it would help us all.
I'm happy to, Carrie.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Teresa.
Mm-hmm. So my markers are very skinny, so I'll hopefully you can see some of it, but by talking through it, I don't know if you can see me. Can you see it at all? If not, I'll just talk through it.
We can see it, but don't be afraid to be behind it either.
Okay. So the first thing I drew was a yellow water feel. And for me, that's all about flow. The yellow is cheerful, fun, light. The second thing I drew was like a nautilus shape, like a circle winding into itself, and in purple. And that for me is regal, opulent, leader. It's having a vista and a perspective. And when I saw the swirl, I just smiled because one of my big things is continuous improvement and looking at that with a self-leadership perspective. And then the next thing I drew were a bunch of just yellow connector lines just all over the place. And so again, that cheerful, fun, light, connected, pulling all the pieces together. And then fourth, I had this pink lightning bolt with a definite target at the bottom. And pink for me is pretty, soft, loving. So having that loving, clarified focus is what I pulled out of that. My fourth one, where's my fourth one? Oh, that was fourth. So fifth was the heart. And my heart was black. And it was so funny because when I felt into black, what I got was calm, quiet, and contrast. Sixth is a big square. And when I was thinking that, I was thinking stage, room, people presenting, workshops. And that's in orange. So it's juicy, bright, smiling, sunny. Seventh is this blue X here, which I find really interesting because it's between the flowing and what's coming last. And the blue for me is flowing, expansive, abundance, oneness. And my last little thing was this puddle on the bottom, this red puddle. And what that is, that for me is like fire, at a hard edge, run, busy energy. And what that, I laughed that that's at the bottom underpinning everything, because that's my one place that I constantly focus on is creating the banks to my river and the foundation, the rhythm. And for me, it does sometimes feel hard because it's not my natural space. And so I'm realizing how much better I work with some structure. So I got a lot out of this.
So that's my next question is, how does this drawing answer your question? Like, are you walking away with a clear answer to your question?
Yes, absolutely. My question was, please show me what I need to know now to create next. Because I'm in the space of, what is this next chapter bringing? And so it does. I have it all, and it's softening my need to, focus everything and allow and create that structure to let everything else flow through and be myself, be my bright, happy, shiny self.
Okay, you guys, I'm gonna put on my camera again, and I'm just noticing the time, and I want to make sure to honor those of you who need to go. So I'm happy to stay on because I love this. But I do want to. I want to just leave you high and dry. So I want to let you know this is totally a beginner's class, right? It's your very first drawing, but can you guys already see how this method helps you bypass your brain and listen to your intuition on paper? Oh, my internet, sorry. And then go ahead, and then of course you can reuse your brain to interpret. But notice how once you detach your brain from it, the interpretation seems to be coming much. Nods, anything. Okay, so what I want to leave you with, those of you who need to go, is if this is interesting to you, if you are intrigued by this, if you just want to do it more. I did this, I just kept playing with intuitive art for a long time, just for my own personal use before I wanted to take it any further. But one of the best things, so this method of intuitive art was actually invented by my friend, Rachel Archelaus, who is amazing, and she was on this call, if she's still here. She has something called, oh, Rachel is still here. She has something called the soul focus method, and it basically takes intuitive art a step further to where it teaches you, actually, Teresa, some of the things I think you might be interested in, but it teaches you like how to take it a step further and actually get a to-do list from your higher self. So to take that guidance that we just got one step further and really get like clear, actionable steps. Sometimes you can get them just from that first drawing alone. But when I took Rachel's Soul Focus method course, it was super duper helpful to me. So if that's something you're interested in at all, I'll put the link in the chat, but you can just go to carrieroldan.com, that's me, /soul focus. It's SOUL focus, not SOLE focus. So I'm going to put that in the chat. I'm not a fast typer, sorry. Okay, carrieroldan.com /soul focus. So if you're interested in taking that a step further, you can check out the Soul Focus class. But the truth is, you guys, just practicing this, just going to this method over and over will help you so much. Like using intuitive art has helped me. And sometimes I'll do one drawing and then that answers part of the question and it sparks another question. And so then I'll do another drawing that gets the next question going. But I just love it so much. I want to share it with you all. It's such a powerful tool to get out of your head and get your guidance out on paper. So now I see people saying, loved it, thanks, it was amazing. So if you have to go, you have to go. But if you'd like to stay and share your drawing with us or ask questions, I'm here. I'm hiding behind this picture of myself, but I'm here to answer them. So let's see if anybody unmutes or comes on. I got lots of so much fun. Thank you. Love this. First time, it was amazing. I would love to hear, as Tayana, you just have this huge smile on your face. I hope I'm saying your name right. But care to share what came up for you?
Well, one of the things that's really interesting to me is I picked up the, like got a different piece of chalk several times, almost a half a dozen times. So when I opened my eyes, I expected to see a lot of different colors, but really I was picking up the same color. And so that I found very consistent. So that would be validating that my intuition is really, driving my hand. So I asked how I can be happier through the day. And all along the bottom, that was my first move, is green. And what I had put for green was, green for me represented healthy, but really like getting my toes in the grass, like spending more time, outside in nature, getting my toes in the grass is what I wrote. So I thought that was really cute how that all ended up along the bottom, and just letting myself be in the flow of the breeze and the trees. And then the second was this yellow. Can you see? So yellow just kind of was streaking up and moving throughout across the page. And the yellow for me was, I wrote down clear, strong, centered, abundant. And so to me, that again is like, I don't know, I just think of the sunshine. I think of that yellow color I just associate with going inward and just that stable center. And so going there more often instead of out here. And the third was all this little swirly stuff in the middle. Again, that's green. And I had also wrote the word tropical. So I feel like that is still more like get in nature more. Then the fourth was these orange sweeping, wonderful, happy, creative, get creating, juicy, just goes through the whole, like 3 sweeps just go through the whole thing. And then I picked up one more color and I put these 4 little circles at the top, and they were also green. I don't know. So green, again, healthy, lush, tropical.
I love
also,
it. Oh, go
I
ahead.
also wrote the word jealous for green, kind of at the tail end. I wrote jealous, as a contrast. But I don't know, to me, the green here, the 4 little circles at the top almost feel more like support. So I don't know.
Well, so this is what's so great about this method is what those 4 things are might become really clear to you. So
Okay.
like it may over the next, because you asked how can I be happier throughout my day? Now that you've got those 4 green circles up there, it might become clear to you over the next, as you revisit the drawing and look at it, or as events unfold in your life, you may realize there's 4 things I need to do every day. Like if I do these 4 things, I'll be happy. And maybe they have something to do with feeling like your toes are in the sand, right? Or in the grass, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that you had that bubbly stuff rising up. So you can, part of like getting further into intuitive art is like recognizing, okay, so I have this foundation of green at the bottom, right? So clearly to be happier every day, I need to get out in nature more. I need to spend some time. What's coming up for me is actually the practice of earthing. And so it's really important to know my interpretation is right and so is yours, right? They're both right. But that practice of literally getting your toes in the grass every single day, right?
Yes.
And releasing to the earth whatever is ickiness, that in doing that, something will grow out of it, right? Because clearly there's something growing out of that. And so it will just be interesting. And maybe what grows out of it are those 4 practices or we don't know yet.
Right.
But it's trusting that drawing, trusting that that guidance is coming from your higher self, and then coming back. I like to post my drawings in a place where I can see them, because the meaning will become clearer and clearer over the next days, weeks, months. And then it helps you trust this whole process more and more, which then helps you trust your own intuition more and more. So that's why I love it so much. You can tell I'm all geeked out on this.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's just great.
You're welcome. And the huge thanks. I don't know if Rachel, you want to show your face or not, but like I said, huge thanks to Rachel Archuleta. She invented this method when she was 11 years old and has spent, I won't tell them how old you are, Rachel, but has spent a long time developing it and understanding it and getting to the place where she's recognized, oh my gosh, this works for everyone. And I just loved it so much. I decided to become a certified intuitive artist. And because I can't help but, like, it's such a valuable tool. You can't help but show people how to use it. So I don't know, Rachel, if you have anything to add or if anybody's got any questions for me or Rachel, but I'm just like grateful to share this with you. So anybody got, oh, go ahead, Rachel.
Oh, I just want to say thank you guys for coming. I'm just so excited and inspired by how Carrie uses intuitive art. So yeah, thanks for using it. Keep in touch with her, use it more, practice, because you'll get more out of it. And thanks.
Aw, thanks, Rachel.
I have a question.
All right. Oh, yeah, go for it.
You said you did this and then you decided to become an intuitive art therapist? How did you, what course do you go through in order to become a certified? I mean, how can I do that?
Yeah, great question. And actually we have Rachel right now. So Rachel created a program for people like you and like me who want to become certified intuitive artists. So maybe Rachel, I'll let you talk about it since it is your program, but just to go deeper and deeper into the practice and be able to use it to help the people that we serve. So Rachel, you want to tell us? Oh, she disappeared.
There we go. Yes. So we have a program called the Certified Intuitive Artist Program, and it basically teaches you how to use all of the different techniques in this, because Carrie wasn't able to show you everything, obviously, because it's just an hour. But there's different drawing types. There are different ways of looking at the colors, and there's ways of looking at every single shade of color and knowing what it means to you. And then there's how to work with people using this and how to teach it in a class and how to kind of develop your own practice if you want to, combine it with what you already do, or just develop something totally new. We kind of teach you the business side and the technique side. So Carrie's actually in the program right now, which is why you guys are all here taking her first class ever. So if you want to learn more about it, I'm sure Carrie can send you guys an email with a link to look at the whole page. I'm sure she can do that. She may even have a link now. I'm not sure.
You know what, Rachel? I don't. So Jen, I don't want to actually, I'll just send it to my whole list because it will be the marketer in me is coming out right now going, okay, the class, I'll be able to send an email saying the class was so successful and lots of you were asking about it. And I'll get in it because the reason Rachel's being so polite and not giving the link is she wants to make sure that I can give my affiliate link. But Jen, and I haven't created the affiliate link yet. I was focused on that soul focus class. But Jen, if you want to just if you want to put your email in the chat, I'll get it to you right away so that you don't have to wait.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And
Very much.
no problem.
This was a really awesome.
Good. I'm glad. I'm so excited. I'm so bummed you guys can't see my face because I mean, you see my face, but like not what's really happening. This has been so fun for me. I've been on the other side of it, right? Like I've been the one that's having the transformation, and Rachel's taught this class a lot. So she's seen the transformation every time. But I was, of course, the first time teaching it, slightly worried like I wouldn't deliver it right or it wouldn't come out. So it's so great to like see, oh, it's working for these people the same way it works for me. Yay. And that's, I guess, why intuitive art is so rad, is it works for everybody.
It's rad. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. Okay, anything else before we all hop off and go our separate ways? I see a thank you from Jen. And Anne says she would love to know more. Great. Okay, well then I'm gonna hang up with you guys and get that email out to everybody, letting you guys know where you can go for more, whether it's the soul focus method, which is pretty rad. It's like the next step, or if you want to just go straight to becoming a certified intuitive artist because you get it all in there. Either way, I feel so blessed to have had you guys in my first class. Thank you for being amazing. And you'll get an email from me shortly. All right, you guys, thank you. So I'm waiting. I'll turn on my camera. Thank you so much, you guys. I will see you soon. Bye, all.